and talk a little bit about what all this means. I think I would like to start there. I'd like to start with the fact that, I don't know what it was about that particular unveiling of the rankings that did it for me, but specifically when it happened, when you saw Florida State's name and logo, it felt good. I know what they're ranked. I know the way we've spoken of this group. I know that they've won, double digit, it was 13 or 14 in a row now, whatever it is. I know that they've been ascending to a place where they belonged in this conversation, and we've spoken of them that way. And yet, something about just seeing their name there with the playoff contenders and all of that seemed to remind me to appreciate it. Not like overlook things or pretend like that it's a perfect team or anything like that, but just appreciate and not really worry about some of the slights that, we all have rabbit ears when it comes to people we love, teams that we root for, whatever it might be. Like if I really like a band and somebody says something negative about them, I hear that in a way, and your ears perk up from across the room. You're like, who is this dumbass? So we all do that. All fan bases really do that with their teams. And so when they're spoken about by outsiders, non-Florida State fans, we have our antennas up. We hear every implied snipe, every sort of reference to anything that is less than attractive about our team. We hear it. We see ghosts sometimes. Sometimes people are just talking about a team, and because they're not lauding our favorite team, we're like, oh, you don't like us. So, it's kind of silly, but we all do that. Most all fan bases do it. Florida State fans do it a lot. And I've done it too. But none of that bothered me last night. No matter what any of the panelists said, no matter how we were discussed, no matter the reasoning or the lack of a consistency to what the committee must have been looking at, like they correctly lauded Ohio State's schedule and then conveniently forgot that we have the second best schedule, strength of record in the grouping, right? So they did it for one, but they didn't do it for another. All right, so that inconsistency fits with previous eras of the playoff committee, right? But it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. And it certainly wasn't going to get in the way of really appreciating the position we find ourselves in again. Been a minute. And now here we are, firmly entrenched in the conversation amongst the 6 to 8 teams in the country that are elite. However you want to shape them, however you want to place them, whatever you think of them. I don't care who you root for, where you live, where you graduated, how you view the game of football. There is no reasonable conversation about football hierarchy and the teams that have a chance to win a national championship that does not include Florida State. Nobody can have that conversation. You could be a diehard Cane. You could be a diehard Gator. You cannot have this conversation about the larger discussion of college football right now without including Florida State as one of the contenders to win a national championship. And that's true of about maybe 8 teams. Maybe. A lot of teams play football, Tom. There's a lot of football teams out there, a lot of programs, a lot of seats being filled by fans watching a product that has zero chance to be in that larger conversation. So that's kind of what hit me last night more than anything else.
Yeah, it feels familiar in the one sense, but almost like an out-of-body experience in the other, because it has been 9 years. The first year that the college football playoff was in existence, we were there and the middle part of the discussion. I'd say we were the focus of the national discussion because it was, how can you drop Florida State week by week? That's what it got to. We settled in at 3 before we got sent off out west.
Yeah.
This time, we're not the focus of the discussion, but we are a part of it. And even though we've had moments in the last 4 or 5 years where they sent the A-team down here, Fowler and Herbstreit have called more games than you think, even when we were really, really bad. They made their way down to Tallahassee for a lot of them. So that never felt out of place. But when you arrive on that program, which I don't care anything about the program, it's just about what it means in the discussion as you're talking about it. When you arrive at during that hour and they're talking about you in the primary sector where it's comparing resumes and talking about who belongs in. Oh, of course, Florida State's in. Yeah.
Yeah.
That validates everything that we thought we could be. And I hate that it's ESPN that does it, but it's the show. It's the College Football Playoff Committee making their rankings. It validates everything that we thought we could be in the offseason. Everything that we thought we could be at the end of last year if we could just bother to retain a few key pieces.
Not easy to do. Thank you, Battle's End.
And then as we came out of spring and we looked and we said, all right, they got better in this area and that area. And you look and say, where are the gaps in the portal? What can this team be? It's not that the job's over. You've got 4 more games to go and a conference championship. If all the cards fall right.
And 2 of those are rivalry games where you know they want nothing more than to ruin your season.
Well, the most important thing is this is a huge win for the long term because what it validates more than your feelings, my feelings.
Of course.
It validates the conversations that Mike Norvell and his assistant coaches have with high school players, saying that oh no, this is getting better. And wait last night that now you can fire off text call with a recruit, an official visit in the near future for the Miami weekend where there's going to be dozens upon dozens of high caliber kids coming into town. And you say, I told you. Now for us to be put over the top, I need you. And that pitch is so much more compelling than it could have been even this time last year when you had improved.
Yeah, well, the upwardly mobile nature of the program was stamped with approval last night in those rankings, even though we knew that was a formality. We were aware of it. It's just nice to see it before you. It's like, okay, I'm picking the car I want online, and I want this feature, and I need this feature, and I want to add this to it. It has to have leather, and I want the Harman Kardon stereo system, and I want all these different things, right? But then when it's delivered, you're like, ooh, look at it. You knew exactly what you were getting. You saw the damn thing. You knew what it was. You put it together. But when it's there, you're like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Well, that was last night. We know we're ranked number 4 in the country. We know we're 8-0. We know that we're in the playoff hunt. We know we're a good football team. We know we're in the greater discussion of, are you better than Georgia? Maybe, maybe not. Are you better than Michigan? Maybe, maybe not. Are you better than Ohio State? Maybe, maybe not. There aren't too many teams you're going to name where this, where you can say that about a program. Like Ohio State fans can do that today. Michigan fans can do that today. And to an extent, Oregon and Washington and a few others can do that. But we're part of that group that is doing that very thing right now. Comparing resumes, comparing rosters, comparing schedules, all of that. That's what we're doing. Comparing quarterbacks and coaches and game times and future games and all of that stuff. And, of course, recruiting classes are a big part of that as well. And so, yes, today and last night are days to celebrate because that hard work and that transition from sorry 2 years ago to elite, no matter what happens the rest of the way, has happened. It's occurred. That transformation has occurred, barring a catastrophe. That will remain true no matter how the season ends. When the clock strikes 0, is that in a playoff game? Is that in the ACC championship game? Is that it? And I get it. A lot of people would tell you that if you lost in the ACC championship game, you had a disaster of a season, but that's just simply not true. By definition right now, it's not true. All the things you needed to have happen have happened. Now, we're not done, to your point. Certainly not done. And it would be bitterly disappointing if somehow you lost to both Miami and Florida, for example. I could see that being a hellacious fall from grace. But in a lot of ways, for the recruiting mechanism, for the recruiting aspect of this, it's already mission accomplished.
Yeah, agreed. And you're one of, by my count, this is my own count, 8 teams in the country right now that can say, if we win out, we're going to the college football playoff. We are
going to the college football playoff.
It's the top 6, and I think it's Alabama and it's Mizzou, oddly enough.
Well,
but Mizzou would have to beat Georgia.
It's this weekend.
Right. Mizzou beats Georgia, but then they would win the SEC championship. If they went out, they have their path before them. Ole Miss needs help because Alabama has to stumble along the way, so they don't count. I don't think the Big 12 counts in that discussion where they say, if we win out, we're definitely in the playoff. No, you're not. Not right now.
No, not right
Not
now.
right now.
Not right now.
And a one-loss SEC team would get in over a one-loss Big 12 conference champion.
Unless that was Texas who beat Alabama head-to-head, and Alabama was the one-loss SEC winner.
I still think it becomes...
I don't think you can do that. You cannot rightfully do that. If Alabama and Texas have the exact same record, Texas beat Alabama at Alabama, we're done here. That's the end of it. There's zero chance. You can't. Well, we should stop watching the sport. There's no.
You and me could say that, but the committee might say something.
I don't think so, because
different.
the committee does value head-to-head. They do. Now, if the records aren't like, if a team has 3 losses and they beat somebody, and that team who lost to that team can still go if they have a better record.
Mm-hmm.
But if they have the exact same record and they're both conference champions, and the only thing separating them was a head-to-head matchup where one team won the damn game on the road at your place.
Yeah, well,
convincingly.
Understood, but they have Oklahoma behind Texas right now. And how do you figure that? I mean, like, Oklahoma beat Texas head-to-head, so how is that possible?
It's a mistake.
Well, I'm saying that mistake could carry through to the Final Four. And it just depends on the insulation, I think, between those two teams in the rankings before you get to that week. That they can hide behind that. Well, they were number 7 and they were number 5, so that's why we're moving Alabama up to number 4 with 1 loss. They can do whatever the hell they want to. And here's one thing that they did, and they chose to do, that annoys me, but it does indicate that there is a gap between the top 3 and number 4. It's like it's what you said. If you're talking about resume and accomplishment right here, right now, Florida State should not be number 4 in the country.
No, it should be 2. If we're doing resume, specific resume, they should be 2.
And if you're open to the idea that Michigan can fall to number 3, then they should fall to number 4. They should fall to number 5. You shouldn't stop at 3. That doesn't make any sense unless you're telling me that the eye test ends at 3.
This is what I'm telling you.
Florida State is below this upper plateau of 1, 2, and 3,
right?
Which is when they put up that graphic that had 1, 2, 3 in the resumes. That made me a little angry. It did.
Yeah.
Because our resume, if you put us on that screen, there's plenty of room to, not do little graphics now. You could size things down just a little bit, put Florida State there. Number 4, you would have a what gives argument, but they didn't want to have the what gives argument in that broadcast about strength of record, strength of schedule.
They're never going to. Now, I will tell you that it is largely imperfect no matter what they do. You're not going to, so the good news is this. Michigan and Ohio State play one another. Okay?
Of course.
We're not going to have to worry about all this.
But it is fair to say at this point, the way that they rank the top 3, that they believe that there is a tier, a second tier, and we are a top tier 2.
Yeah, they think we're the best of tier 2. And they think tier 1 is Ohio State, Georgia, and Michigan.
And that's where, personally, the war, everything is on schedule, no problem. But for this battle, that pisses me off because we're not tier 2. We're tier 1. We are a tier 1 football team.
Yeah, what's interesting is, and again, we get into these styles make fights discussions, and which team of that grouping would you like to play? Who do you have the best chance to beat? And oddly, I think it's the number 1 team. I feel very good about Florida State's chances of beating the committee's number 1 team.
Yeah, agreed.
I feel far less secure in our standing in facing Georgia or Michigan. Far less. Now, give me Ohio State all day, every day. If that means we have to be 4 and we take on 1, I like that. Let's go.
Right, but this is not last year or the year prior where you would say that Florida State is a light heavyweight, not a true heavyweight.
No, we're a heavyweight. Yeah, no, we're a true heavyweight.
Don't be doing that nonsense, committee.
We're a heavyweight. Yes, and so, for example, I did this with a lot of the teams. I was having fun with this. I did a spot last night on SiriusXM with Jeff Schwartz, and I forget the other guy's name, Roy, something. But anyhow, nice guy.
Philpott?
Maybe it is Roy Philpott. Is that right?
Roy Philpott is the guy that we had on to talk about the Willie hire years and years ago.
Maybe he's a
national play-by-play guy.
Well, then that's him. He was on. And anyhow, they were nice enough. Golly, you'd think I would have remembered that. Poor Roy. I treated him like he was a
he
bum.
said that Willie was a home run hire just like we did. And Roy was as wrong as we were.
Yeah. So here you go. Anyhow, the point would be, I went on that show and we had a good discussion and it was a fun discussion, but I didn't get to tell this to Jeff Schwartz, who played at Oregon, who's an Oregon guy, and he's fair. He asked some good questions about Florida State. But I wanted to say, well, look, oddly enough, the team that beat Oregon, I like our chances to beat. Oregon themselves, I don't.
Yeah.
So
if you were going to rank...
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Oregon would be a tougher game for us than Washington.
Yeah, who's in the club? No particular order, of the top 4 teams in the country, not playoff rankings, but who do you think are the best 4 teams in the country?
That's where you get into power ratings.
Yeah.
So power ratings don't care about your record.
Yeah.
There are a lot of factors that, there are people, I heard a guy yesterday in an interview who's a professional gambler, and this is what he does for a living. And he bets on pro and college football and has his power ratings and discussed about how he arrives at those ratings and what they mean. And he said prior to giving those rankings, he said, now remember, this is not how I would rank them if we were doing a poll. This is how I rank them in terms of their power rating. Those are 2 very different things. And because of that, he had LSU as a top 6 team. And he was, and they have 2 losses.
Well, yeah, put LSU and Ohio State on the field.
Good game.
Who are you picking?
Ohio State, but it's a good game. I think so.
Okay.
It's a good game. They're going to get stops.
What Ohio State did to that Penn State offense
I just think that I think they're a legit good defense. I think they would get stops. I don't know that LSU gets stops against anybody playing football anywhere. Maybe Army. I guess they did against somebody like that. But
interesting this weekend to see if they get stops, because it's not like that Alabama offense has Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, it will. That's a great game.
Yeah, it is.
That's where we get back to this is going to solve itself. We're going to be all right. If you take care of business, we're going to be fine. And it's fun. I love the Styles Make Fights debate, because people can get their feelings hurt in a hurry when you're like, who I wouldn't want to play? The number 16 team in the country. They're a problem for us. It's what? You're like, but the number 1 team will beat that ass. I'm not worried about them. That's how it works. That's how the game works. That's what, when you watch the NFL, you see teams amass their record, whatever it might be. Now that we play 17 games, it's weird to say, but you can go 12-5, and one of those 5 could be against the worst team in football. Like the Chiefs just lost to the Broncos. I think we all know the Chiefs are better than the Broncos, but that they just got done getting beat, and really it wasn't a fluke. They trailed the whole damn game.
Yeah, this is where you can dislike the playoff, and everybody always has disliked the postseason method. But you were talking last night on the broadcast, and that's not dated information, folks. I encourage you later on to watch the reaction show. It's good. I believe Corey asked you the question, or maybe you brought it up, that it's amazing how 1 yard for Ohio State can change their fate from where they would have been, which is top 10, but on the outer limits,
right,
to number 1 in the country, being talked about as the best team in the country.
Yeah.
As though, now the way people talk about their schedule and what they've done, it's like they steamroll Notre Dame in a sense, the way you present it, and how thin that line is. It is literally a yard at the end of a game. And to me, the right response to that is, that's why this sport is the best. This is the best. 1 yard changes their fortunes in such a crazy way that now they can go from 1 yard, gotta have it, to number 1 in the country.
For now. Yeah. That part of it's fine. I don't like the in perpetuity, imperfect way in which we decide college football's postseason.
12 will be better.
12 will be better.
Yeah.
This has always been largely subjective. It is also why I was in favor of the computers, why I like the BCS. I mean, come up with a set of criteria that is universal and say these 16 things are what we're inputting, and we are all going to live with that. And, we can debate what those 16 things need to be, but let's come to an agreement on that across the board, vote on it, however you have to do it, and then we'll decide whatever that spits out. That's what we got. I was in favor of that because I think that's more objective than, Jerry Smith, who works at Michigan, being on the committee, or anybody else. Like if you threw Jeff Cameron in there, I would not be objective. By definition, none of us can be. We are not completely objective. We can try. We can effort, but you were born somewhere. You've lived a life. You're the sum of your experiences. You went to school somewhere. You have built-in biases that you're never going to fully get rid of.
And even if you recuse yourself from discussions for Florida State, if you're in the room, you still submit your rankings.
I still have to submit my rankings.
I believe you have to include them.
Right. And imagine if I have to do that and there's a debate between Florida and FSU. Guys, I'm serious. Objectively speaking, I think Florida State's better. I just do. You can doubt me if you want. That's how that conversation goes 100% of the time. And so that's, that is frustrating. You're always going to have it. That's why I said on last night's show, do not get wrapped up if a guy who doesn't care at all about Florida State, who went to school at Arizona, is on a show that you happen to be listening to and says, I don't think Florida State's that good. The ACC's terrible. A lot of people would hear that and be like, this son of a bitch. Listen to this blasphemy. He doesn't hate FSU. He's just giving you his opinion through his prism, what he sees in college football. And you can think he's wrong, but don't get worked up over it, because you would do the same to his beloved Pac-12.
No, for sure. He loves Phil Mickelson and everything Phil Mickelson's done in his life because he's an Arizona guy. I mean,
Right.
You got to understand these things.
Yeah. He doesn't get that he sold his soul to terrorists. But I mean, that's the hard part, right? You have to have these conversations. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Whidden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
The leaves are starting to fall, the temperatures will start to fall, and the prices are falling right now at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. Incredible dealer discounts up to $5,000 are available on all hot spring spas, the industry leader in hot tubs and spas. If you've never experienced the sensation and relaxation of having your own hot tub in your backyard on a cool evening, you're truly missing out. The cold months are coming, and now's the time to set yourself up for the best winter season you've ever had. Plus, you'll gain the added health benefits of reduced stress, relief of sore muscles, and better sleep. You'll feel so relaxed after a nice soak in your new hot spring spa. You'll experience some of the best sleep of your life. Head over to Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road and check out their huge showroom packed with the best selection of hot tubs and spas available. And ask about getting up to $5,000 in discount, low interest financing, and a free accessory to make your hot tub dreams come true. If you're ready to relax, Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
Orthopedic pain and injury deserves effective treatment options now, so you feel better fast. Whether you have joint pain that won't subside or an urgent orthopedic injury, we are the specialists to get you back on your feet. And there's only one thing better than fast care: expert care. We believe you deserve both. TOC, only experts. Learn more at teamtoc.com.
This Friday and Saturday, when you buy anything from either Fulmer's location, you'll pay absolutely no tax. Fulmer's will pay it for you. That's a 7.5% net savings to you that goes on top of already marked down prices on many items. Some as much as 50% off retail. 2 days only this Friday and Saturday. Jewelry, bikes, electronics, tools, lawn equipment, sporting goods, collectibles, even firearms will be bought with no tax because Fulmer's will pay it for you. And speaking of guns, quality gun maker Premier Firearms will have a representative on hand at the North Monroe location with their unique weapons, rifles, and pistols finished in 24-karat gold. Beautiful designs illustrating the American flag, Louis Vuitton, SEC themes, pink rose, and more will be on display and available for purchase. Really must be seen to appreciate. And while you're at either Fulmer's location, make sure to register for a $100 store gift certificate. 2 days only this Friday and Saturday. Find huge discounts and pay no sales tax at either Fulmer's location. Fulmer's Pawn, Gun, and Check Cashing. More than you might expect with 2 great locations.
So I have been in the operating room most of my career, watching people have orthopedic surgery, watching people get knees replaced, hips replaced, shoulders fixed, and I knew there had to be a better way.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a medical director for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in non-invasive regenerative treatments for pain relief.
I see so many people who could have been helped before they got to the operating room if only they had known about regenerative medicine.
QC Kinetics, a natural alternative that uses your body's own healing properties to help restore and repair damaged joint tissue, providing long-lasting relief without drugs, surgery, or downtime.
Well, it feels great when I do get to see somebody who we help, who I know I kept out of the operating room. It's amazing how we change people's lives without surgery.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 850-391-4280. That's 850-391-4280. 850-391-4280.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
It would be today to be Josh McDaniels. And if you had Josh McDaniels as the first coach to be fired, cash that ticket, everybody. You are all set. I got to start getting into the first coach to be fired betting at the beginning of every season. You can get really good odds and have a good time with this sort of thing. And if you can read the tea leaves with a guy, get a sense of, is he on the cusp of cracking, like Dabo, for example, the other day, 2 weeks ago, looking at him at the dais, ready to throw that microphone against the wall. I'm like, ooh, we're up against it.
I'm assuming you guys had fun with that yesterday.
Yeah, we brought it up. We talked about it. You and I can talk about it too. But we'll do it on Coach Speak as well. But anyhow, I mean, you can see when guys are on the cusp of it. And if you can read that, you could probably do well with these first coaches to get fired bets. This would not have been my bet, though, specifically because this truly is one of the great kiss my ass on Main Street moments in the history of football. Josh McDaniels is said to make somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 million per season. Man, you know how many guys got head coaching jobs because Tom Brady was good? Here's the number one guy. Daboll also got a job because Tom Brady was good.
Oh, what a beautiful confluence of events, too, that this particular head coach, briefly as it was, both times, I think he's put together maybe 3 full seasons between his 2 jobs. He is available in the era where coaching salaries are insane.
Well, think about it this way. These contracts are guaranteed. So they just started the rebuild there and gave him a 6-year deal. He's a year and a half in on a 6-year deal. For the next 4.5 years, they've got to pay him roughly $10 million to do nothing. I might have overdosed upon the news that I don't have to ever work again and I'll be receiving $10 million a year to not do so. I might have been on so many drugs, it's insane, just in celebration. Like, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy it. I would have been so high. Are you kidding me? You want to pay me $10 million a year for the next 4.5 years to sit around butt naked? Because that's what I'm going to do.
Never clothed.
No, because I don't have to. I don't have to wear clothes. I can do anything I want at this point. I'm making $10 million a year to never do a damn thing again if I don't want to.
I've never asked this question, but I feel like after multiple decades, we're entering our 3rd decade. We're in the middle of it, working together.
Yeah.
Do you want to retire to a nudist colony? Is that what's going on here?
No, I like being naked, but I don't like being naked with strangers.
Okay, all right. Unless they're your neighbor at 4:00 in the morning.
I don't like being naked with him. He just happened to see me naked because I was peeing off my deck. That is a very different set of circumstances. We would have a very different discussion if he came meandering over naked. What are we talking about here? That's a very different discussion.
I see you're an early riser too.
So think about Josh McDaniels' sorry ass. And remember, this is the same dumbass that drafted Tim Tebow and moved up to do it.
Yeah, 1st round. Yeah.
Whoever watched Tim Tebow in college was both in awe and in laughter, because the awe part of it was how a guy could bludgeon that league physically the way he did en route to winning a Heisman and a national championship with the inability to throw a football is truly remarkable.
Hey, he won an NFL playoff game all by himself, buddy. All by himself.
So nobody looked at that guy and went, you know what? I like it. I want him to be our franchise quarterback. Josh McDaniels was the lone guy that did it. The lone dude.
Show contributor Chris back in the day would get very, very angry. Borderline, hey, man, kind of talk with the, hey, watching the Dolphins, specifically the Dolphins.
Yes.
I think the watershed moment of growth, and I think he would agree to this, was them losing on Tim Tebow's first professional start.
Yeah, that's a toughie.
Because it was a late announcement.
Oh, remember that?
Oh, we're going to kill him.
And he was awful.
And
they won.
They lost
to
Tebow.
And he was awful.
I think that was the last time that he really went down that path.
I think he kind of realized.
All right.
The time's up.
I mean, I had the Dante Culpepper debut when Drew Brees is over there in New Orleans. Yeah. The Tebow one was that he was like, all right, enough of that.
Yeah.
Time to grow up.
Amongst the highlights for Josh McDaniels and why he once again, and don't forget this, everybody forgets this chapter of the Josh McDaniels coaching life. The dude accepted the Indianapolis Colts job and put together an entire staff. He had a staff. He had it, and then in the middle of the night went, I don't think so. I want to back out of the deal. What? You put together a staff. You called people. You've got them jobs. They're all, what are you talking about? So there's that. He also lost to the Indianapolis Colts when interim head coach Jeff Saturday took over the Colts. By the way, Jeff Saturday had never coached above the high school level when he took that job and beat Josh McDaniels. That's a toughie. My goodness gracious. He also was head coach of the Raiders as they blew the largest lead in franchise history, up 20 points in the second half to Arizona, who at halftime had 0 points and came back to beat you. The very definition of adjustments. My goodness gracious. Think about this. Baker Mayfield was flown to Los Angeles the day before the game last year, joined his team, memorized a pared down playbook, and threw for like 300 and something yards and beat Josh McDaniels. And it was a double-digit lead. And that's Baker Mayfield, who had been there for 24 hours. He got shut out in New Orleans in Week 8 last year. By the way, Josh McDaniels, offensive mind, has to be great. Coach Tom Brady lost a game last year where they got shut out and didn't cross the 50. This is an NFL team, sir. You didn't cross the 50-yard line in a football game. I dare say you could take the top-rated 7A school in high school, they might get across the 50 on a play. Just a play. Just something happens, like a trick play. The 50. And he lost already this season to an undrafted Division II rookie quarterback making his first ever start. That's the Chicago Bears, and that was Tyson Bagent, the arm wrestling kid.
Josh is going to remember his name.
Yeah. So we ought not forget also that Josh McDaniels and the GM, who was also fired, Ziegler, took over the team, took over the reins of this team coming off the playoff appearance. They were 10-7, made the playoff. They took over. That's something.
I wonder if they get Rich Bisaccia back, because he was the one that rallied the troops in the wake of the Gruden firing.
He did. They went to the playoffs with him.
Yeah.
Think about, I mean, come on, man. 6-year deal, 4.5 years left on it. What a phone call to get. We were all asleep. It's 2 o'clock in the morning in the East Coast when it happened.
Apparently he was trick-or-treating with his kids when he got the call.
What a night. Eat all the candy you want, buddy. You don't have to go to work in the morning. You're good to go.
Hey, son, you want to take off school tomorrow?
We could go to anywhere in the world.
You mean I get to hang out with you, Dad?
Finally.
First time for everything, son.
I won't be immersed in a losing game plan. I'll have the opportunity to instead rest easy, get set to collect my next check in 2 weeks. Woohoo! Gonna be awesome. It's a big check. We can do anything we want. Let's go to Thailand, son. Ooh, that's getting weird. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
One motorcyclist died Tuesday after being involved in a vehicle crash at the intersection of South State Road 53 and County Road 255. A sedan driven by a 58-year-old San Francisco man approached the intersection traveling south on County Road 255 and stopped at the stop sign. A 33-year-old motorcyclist of Live Oak was traveling north on South State Road 53. The sedan driver then traveled south onto South State Road 53 before colliding with the motorcycle. As a result, the motorcyclist was thrown from the motorcycle and transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced deceased. A Mitchell County Sheriff's deputy is facing DUI charges after being arrested by Georgia State Patrol early Sunday morning. Troopers performed a traffic stop on a silver Ford F-150. Troopers noticed the driver showed signs of impairment. The driver identified himself as Mitchell County Sheriff's Deputy David Hart. After conducting a DUI investigation, troopers placed Hart into custody. This is Rachel Anay with the Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High of 60 this afternoon under sunny skies, north winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet again tonight, lows around 39. Daytime highs approaching 67 tomorrow, sunny skies. Daytime highs approaching 71 Friday under mainly sunny skies, 77 Saturday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 57.
The Challenger Learning Center presents Impact Week 2023, November 13th through the 17th. Experience a week long of free events and join in on Domi's Pitch Event, a chance for area entrepreneurs to pitch their business for a chance to win $22,000 in cash and in-kind prizes. Experience our community's dynamic energy firsthand. To learn more about the event, see a list of topics and talks, and to register for free, go to impactweek.info.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bunk on lechon, Jeff?
Is that what is the pork?
The bunk on lechon, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All of these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
That's really interesting, too. I did not expect, because you sent me a short video of the concert, and I couldn't tell if that was, okay, he's giving it a go versus, no, he still got it.
No, he still got it. He was good. He was really good. They were great. That was a fun night. Also, I have to admit, I don't mind being bald. I'm fine with it, but that dude's hair is still crazy thick and long, and I'm like, look at you. You're like 70. Stop that, bastard. Hey, heads up. This is a good thing. This is something that you'd maybe want to help out if you can. And I brought it up yesterday, on Monday. I'm going to do it again here right now. And if you're watching on Warchant TV, you'll see what it is I'm talking about. If you're interested in giving the gift of education, the gift of a scholarship, Please listen now. The Giovanni Vitrano Foundation, a nonprofit organization near and dear certainly to all of us, is holding its 2023 Geo Cup this week in Tallahassee. The event is a showcase of the elite soccer programs in the Tallahassee area, but it also serves as the most important week of fundraising in honor of Giovanni Vitrano, who tragically died just 2 years ago this November. Gio's father and our good friend Ron Vitrano created this scholarship fund to be awarded annually to 3 high school student athletes in our community. These scholarships help honor Giovanni's spirit, that's for sure. This week through November the 4th, thanks to to an anonymous donor, I should say, all donations to the GB scholarship will be doubled. Please consider the power of what you can do to help a young student athletes in their college journey. If you wish to learn more and support the Giovanni Vitrano Foundation, all you got to do is visit gbscholarship.org today. Go to gbscholarship.org today. And for those of you looking at the screen there, you see the game times and all that good stuff. There you go. All right. Exhale. I'll be over. I saw Leon on there. I'll be over at Leon a lot this year. Actually, oddly, I already am, but I'll be there even more in a way. Because Bryce will be playing basketball for Leon this year. He made the team. Congratulations to my son. I'm proud of you. And but they're redoing the gym. So he's going to be playing home games away from Leon. So I'll be supporting Leon, but not at Leon.
Is he going to be pitching in the spring, or is it spring football only?
I think it's spring football for him, and I think he's unfortunately gone away from baseball, and he was good at baseball. I wish he'd have stayed with it, but he made the basketball team. They announced that this week. I was very proud of him. I'm not sure he thought he was going to make it, but he did. And so, and it's his birthday this weekend. Big week for Bryce. He turns 16 this weekend.
Do you think he's going to be able to dunk like Pops?
Yeah, he's getting there now. He can easily jump up and hold on to the rim. So he's already there, and he's 15 years old. Yes, I think so. His legs are getting stronger. So, yeah, he can jump. It's a problem for me now, man. It's a problem. If I'm not hitting outside shots, I can't win against him anymore.
Have you lost?
I have. I finally lost to him, yeah. Well, he got to where he wore me out. He got to where he just, we would play.
It was one-on-one?
Yeah, he beat me. Wow. He can shoot now, and he's my height, and he can dribble. It's a problem. He's also soon to be 16, and I'm 52. He better beat me. I was calling him out for a while until finally he got fed up.
I was going to say, no excuses. You were aggressive with him.
I was. I made fun of him. I told him, it's a damn shame, 50-year-old man out here beating your ass, and he got tired of hearing that. But I kept agitating him. And then he figured out that if he plays with enough effort, my sustained energy does not match his.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens.
Takes us to our next sponsor. Do you have low T out there?
No, man. The hardest part about getting old, I get calf cramps. I'm drinking water like it's nobody's business.
Well, it's the coffee. It's so much of the coffee.
I don't even drink it in the middle of the afternoon like I used to. I used to hammer coffee all day.
There's going to be a video spot. We're going to put it together. It's going to be of you starting to wear down in a game. Wait a minute. Is that Frank Thomas? Frank Thomas? Why are you here? Well, just in case. Just in case.
Those commercials are the worst.
Oh, they are.
It's the most uncomfortable moment when he turns to the camera and says, and she'll like it too.
Oh, no.
What?
He's like hitting on the dude's wife.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, pal. She's going to like it too.
Frank.
Isn't that right, Doug Flutie?
Just because you were and Andy Van Slyke, former Cardinal, Pirate, every other team. I'm like, why is Andy Van Slyke? Nobody knows who Andy Van Slyke is. I do. I guess maybe I'm the target audience, I guess.
That's why, yeah. Is that because they want you to be engaged? Say, is that Andy Van Slyke?
Why is Andy Van Slyke
here?
Did
you see Andy Van Slyke in the low T commercial? And boom, they got you. You had to do some work. You had to do some work.
Andy's out there, like they show him working out. I'm like, Andy's still like looking like he can play. He's ripped. Look at you, Van Slyke. Give it up. I mean, stay in shape, but you don't have to be training like you're about to get another time.
With the Nutrisystem. And she'll love it too.
Oh, man. I have outright begun to root for the woman who plays Martha in the commercial about life insurance or whatever it is. I rooted for her to die. I'd like her to pass away.
Martha?
Yeah, you'll see it. She's wearing giant glasses, and she's supposed to be this cranky old woman, and then the narrator is like, "But Martha, you can save now. You must call." And then she's like, "I don't want to call." It's the worst. Every time she talks, I'm like, "Somebody shoot her."
What channel?
It's the worst. It's awful.
Not expecting that. Is this like the military channel for the documentaries?
No, it's on all the time. I've seen there it is. There's Martha.
I've never seen this.
Oh,
ad.
it's on incessantly. See the picture on the bottom left? Look at the bottom left over there.
Oh, yeah.
Look, it's ridiculous. Every time she opens her mouth, I'm like, somebody punch her. This is terrible.
That's like Ernest meets Estelle from
it's
Golden
the
Girls.
worst thing you'll ever see. Thank you for finding that.
This must be on your suggested video.
No, it's not on my video. It's on
YouTube TV.
If you're just watching, no, Tom, if you're just watching a football, it was on during the Florida State game. Here's what I'm going to do. When we're on this weekend, if that commercial comes on, I'm going to call you right away. Be like, hey!
Well, snap a photo of it and see if it's got the eye with the circle around in the top left, because that would be ad choices.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
All right.
I don't think it is. I will take a closer look at it.
It could be their profiling you. They're saying, "Hey, man,
it came
getting
on
up
during
there.
Jeopardy."
Okay. Well, that makes sense if it's national during Jeopardy.
But
it should be on every spot block and Price is Right.
It's really annoying.
I've never seen that.
Oh, you're gonna hate her.
That looks like the people who made the rehabilitation. We are the what was that? The guy with the glasses. He's in the scrub.
Oh yeah, he's in.
I was gonna be that guy for Halloween one year. I never followed through on that.
How many trick or treaters you get last night?
We're in a cul-de-sac, so business was a little slow for a weeknight.
Usually it is. If you're in a cul-de-sac.
So Jamie had to do the first half an hour because we were, I was doing stuff for the show behind the scenes and the website. 25, 30?
That's
Something
not
like that.
bad for where you are, back tucked away like that.
Yeah.
By the way, last night we talked a little bit about the committee and where Florida State sits and so on and so forth. But I thought Mike Norvell's answer to this after practice, quote, I'm not going to get distracted. He said this after yesterday's practice. We have a purpose. We have a mission. Being 8-0 can be distracting if you allow it to be distracting. Do I want people nationally to recognize our program and the great players that I get to coach? Absolutely, I do. I think it's wonderful people are talking about Florida State. They should be. But he said that he has no plans to talk about the rankings with the team and no plans to discuss any other aspect of that, which is the right answer. That's fine. They know where they rank. They've got eyes. They get the deal. They know that they've got 4 more football games in the regular season plus an ACC championship. That's the end goal. He said so before the season started. And that really ushered in a change in the narrative. Mike, Tom has brought this up before, and he's right. Mike had never spoken in that way about his team in a given year winning a championship. Not an ACC championship, not a national championship.
Not once.
It had never come up before. And so when he did it, obviously we all took note. And Mike is very careful with his words. He's very careful in how he answers questions. He's thoughtful about it. Sometimes he meanders and stutters and does all that stuff and, doesn't always get to the point. But it's because he's searching for the right way to phrase things and the right way to motivate people and the right messaging. And I appreciate that. And he has, you can see it. You can see the thought process. So when he decided to invoke championships, to add that to the lexicon of descriptors, I thought, hey, he really likes this team. He really, really likes his team if you're going to do that. And I wondered in a moment of candor how he would grade this team, how he would assess each segment group, where he'd say they're at if he had his druthers. Every coach wants every segment group on his team to be an A+. Rarely does that happen. Just because the nature of college football, this isn't the NFL. You can't sign guys to 10-year deals and have them year over year. Guys leave. If they're really, really good, they leave after 3 years. And so you're constantly changing and trying to supplement what you have and what you don't have. And, that's why the portal's been so good to Mike Norvell, and he's been so good at adapting, as pointed out by Dave Clawson, to the modern game. He's helped out by what I think is certainly in the conversation for the best collective in all of college football in the Battle's End. And that approach where the athletic director and the head coach, and certainly within a degree, you can't describe it this way, but, the left hand knows what the right hand's doing, and that applies to the collective as well. Recognizing which players might need a contract and which players might be told, have a good day. You want to go elsewhere? You want to go play at another school? By all means. Others, let's slow our roll on that. Maybe we have a little something to offer. Think about this, though, before we break. You could bring back almost the entirety of that offensive line next year.
You could. Yeah.
Now, there are some guys I'd like to move on from, but there are others that I would say, oh, what an added bonus to bring back Bless Harris. To bring back, to have a guy with that experience and skill set, you could do it.
Yeah, Bless might get a medical exemption for another year. But, Darius and Maurice have been two of your most important offensive linemen.
Well, if you don't have...
And both of them are eligible to come back.
Yeah, and, Maurice is not on his way to the NFL. So
No,
this would probably be the best deal he's going to get.
That's actually an interesting negotiation. Because you don't have professional leverage.
Yeah, that is true. Hour number 2, fourth coming. Stay with.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured and you've got to be at work and rehab, all without a car. I'm Dana Brooks of Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777, and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
Warning, the following Zaxby's ad may contain messaging upsetting to Philadelphians. Zaxby's took the iconic Philly sandwich, the quote-unquote perfect Philly sandwich, and made it perfecter by putting fried chicken on it. That's right, fried chicken on a Philly. And while Philadelphia might find it offensive, you can find it at your local Zaxby's. Finally, the Philly done right. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's.
Man, I just got a text from my wife. She wants me to cook dinner and then snuggle on the couch next to a roaring fire.
So what's the problem, Dave? You already got the new grill and you're a great cook.
I got one major problem. We don't have a fireplace.
Man, that's an easy fix. Just call Hearth and Patio. They got a lot of fireplaces that can help you for your romantic evenings. Wood, gas, electric, and a ton of different sizes, man. Call Hearth and Patio today, 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio. Ignite that spark in your life.
Thank you for calling the Medicare Help Desk. How can we help you?
Can you help me choose the right coverage for myself and my wife?
We sure can. We can help you choose from Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, or standalone prescription drug plans from over 30 different insurance carriers.
How much does it cost? We have a fixed income and can't afford extra expenses.
At the Medicare Help Desk, the consultation is completely free. We are here to help.
Thank you, Medicare Help Desk.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. In my 17 years of experience, I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk, a place for you to get clear answers to all your questions and make sense of all the confusion. I've helped thousands of clients, and I live right here in Tallahassee with my family. I am active in my church and wish to help and serve my community. If you need help navigating the Medicare landscape, I'm easy to find. Just visit the MedicareHelpDesk.com. That's the MedicareHelpDesk.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Florida has won 10 of the last 11 meetings of the Arkansas Razorbacks dating back to 1995. They're laying 6 against the Razorbacks on Saturday at the Swamp. 48.5 the total. Florida State a 21.5-point road favorite at Pitt. The total 51. Florida State number 4 in the country. Florida State has outscored its opponents during its 14-game winning streak, 585 to 255. UCF Saturday on the road, a 4-point favorite at Cincinnati. Jacksonville Jaguars had the week off, but the Buccaneers are in action. They're a 2.5-point dog of the Houston Texans. The total 4. Get your free VSiN subscription right now at VSIN.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Your small business is always top of mind. Well, top of your mind. To get it to the top of other people's minds, you need to get your name out front, which is where Staples Print and Marketing Services can put it. A yard sign over there, brochures right here, a banner up there. In fact, your business's message could appear anywhere. And right now at Staples, get $100 off your print purchase of $250 or more. Make a splash with your small business print and marketing materials at Staples. Ends 11/4. Visit staples.com/print for details.
As the Biden administration mulls banning menthol cigarettes, critics warn it would increase crime and empower cartels. Here's former Arizona law enforcement officer Joby Dickinson.
Our southern border faces serious problems, and a proposed ban on menthol cigarettes would make them worse. Cartels have smuggled illegal drugs like fentanyl for years. Adding menthol cigarettes to their list of products puts more money in their pockets. Stronger cartels make for a weaker America. Oppose the federal menthol ban.
Sponsored by the Border Security Alliance.
Hi, Taco.
Hey, champ, how you doing? Pull up a pillow. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. Hey, something's different about you.
That's right. My people took me to Tally Spay, the affordable spay and neuter clinic on West Tennessee.
Tally Spay? Isn't that the place where they...
Yeah, they're a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic.
So you're saying you've had some work done?
I did. You'd think I'd be depressed, but truth is, I don't even miss them. All I know is my family is much happier now that I've been altered. My people even brought Mr. Jingles to Tally Spay.
Tally Spay, a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic open to the public, serving Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. How you feeling, Mr. Jingles? Leave me alone! Ugh, you're right, it is a lot nicer. Go to tallyspay.com. That's tallyspay.com.
Step into the heart of Tallahassee at the Challenger Learning Center for Impact Week 2023, November 13th through the 17th, and experience our community's dynamic energy firsthand. With a lineup of workshops, panels, and professional speakers, you'll have opportunities to network, engage, and collaborate with industry experts, business owners, entrepreneurs, and there will even be free professional headshots and more. To learn more about the event, see a list of topics and talks, and to register for free, go to impactweek.info.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, there are a lot of benefits to getting the hell up in the morning, right? But none better than when that crisp, cool air hits Tallahassee and you're out the door before the sun, standing in your yard with a cup of joe, staring up at the stars, and that cool air hits you. Woo, that was great this morning, buddy.
Well, to your points about, trick-or-treaters last night, how many did I get? Well, we've got a long driveway, so we set up at the end of the driveway on the street.
Yeah.
And by about 6:30, 6:45, you could feel the front pushing through, and it just got better and better.
Better as the day went on. I agree.
Gorgeous last night.
I was reading a book, and I was like, why am I reading inside? What am I doing? Went outside. Before the trick-or-treaters got there, I was just reading out in my front yard.
I have a giant pirate coat that's pretty good looking, like as a costume.
I thought you were meaning like a Pittsburgh Pirates coat. I'm like, sir.
If I did, I would have given it to you long ago.
I was going to say, my man.
No, like Captain Jack Sparrow, just this huge coat, and it looks clean. This 5-year-old comes up last night, cute kid. He had taken the mask off because it's too warm. And he says, I love your jacket. Oh, thanks. He goes, where's your hook? And he was devastated. Where's your hook? So I tried to make one out of my pointer finger, and he goes, that's your finger. And immediately I thought of Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
It's not a gun, it's your finger.
You said your finger was a gun. So enjoy that, just like you enjoy the ranking, just like you enjoy Florida State's place amongst the football elite, just like you hopefully will enjoy a big win. And by the way, I listened to Narduzzi this week. I knew he was going to have to address the situation. He's talked twice, and he has addressed it once. He had a lot of nice things to say about Mike Norvell yesterday. He talked about how the program has been built back, and he said what every coach says after watching film of Florida State. Oh man, they're really good. Yeah, they are. They got a lot of choices. I'm always telling my kids, like, you have to do good in school, even if you don't like school, because that allows for you to have choices. You want more choices, not less choices. Florida State's got an abundance of riches when they're healthy. And I think all coaches that sit down and watch film of Florida State, especially when they have their full bevy of talent, says, well, damn it, man. If I hyper-focus on this, and this, they're just going to hit this guy and this guy. And, that would be unsettling as you watch that film, I would think, because you can't take everything away.
No, and that's something that if you take away the designation of night 1, night 2, and you just say, how many draft picks does Florida State produce? We're circling back. And it's easily 10, and it could get upwards of 15 or 16, depending upon how many guys go. Or if the retention game continues to be strong and they say, all right, I'll come back one more year, I'll make some money and then up my stock so I can be a day 1 guy or a day 2 guy. But Florida State genuinely is closer to 15, I think, than 10 at this point of draft picks.
That will be drafted?
That will be drafted. And that's where these coaches see it on film every week. They're not lying to you when they say they've got players everywhere.
Yeah, 15, huh? That's interesting. I might push back on that a little bit. I don't think they have 15 players to get drafted right now.
I think
are you saying that play a major role for you? I mean, they would show up on film if they did. I don't know about a few of those linemen.
On offense?
Yeah.
I'm not counting a single one.
Okay, good, because I would say none of them.
No, you've got at least 5 players on offense, and that's Johnny, Keon, Trey, Jaheim, and Jordan. Mm-hmm. They're all going to get drafted.
Yeah, I think you could probably throw Morlock in there. I don't mean this year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, in the future, sure.
When he leaves. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So just this year. Okay. That's those 5. So I like those 5.
There's 5 there. The defensive line, you're going to send quite a few,
hopefully not Daryl Jackson.
Hopefully not Daryl Jackson. Hopefully not Joshua Farmer. Hopefully not Patrick Payton.
Yeah. No, you definitely will with Verse. You will with Fabo. He'll be a second day guy, but fiscally drafted as well.
Bernardo's going to get drafted.
Bernardo will get drafted.
Ventrell's going to get drafted.
Late, very
late.
But
that's what I'm saying. You're taking away the designations there.
I think Kalen DeLoach will get drafted. I don't think Bethune's going to get drafted. I think Kalen DeLoach will get drafted.
You think Akeem Dent will get drafted? If you think that Kalen and Akeem will get drafted, you're talking about 13. So it's close. I mean, yeah. You really could get there. And that's without losing somebody like a Daryl Jackson or a Josh Farmer or a Patrick Payton. I mean, it's crazy when you start to stack it up.
It's a fun exercise, and it really does illuminate once again how far they've come and how much this roster has been built back up. And I do think, when you're in the midst of a great run like this and you're 8-0 and you're hoping to play in the college football playoff, certainly to win the conference, it doesn't necessarily behoove you to get into this exercise of looking into next year. But I like to do it because I think the program is so upwardly mobile that it is fun to project what we're going to look like year over year. Now, you're never going to get it completely right because the world is filled of surprises. Kids are fickle. Weird things happen. People get hurt. Other people out of left field decide to transfer. Sometimes you have opportunities to bring other guys in and play over certain guys. And so, you're never going to get it 100% right. But when you start to put together the roster for next year, and I said this at the beginning of this year when we had a lot of conversation about the importance of having a great season this year. You brought up playoffs or bust. We talked about what is your definition of a successful season this year. We both picked 11-1. Now it looks like they may go 12-0, knock on wood.
Yeah, I had them losing this week. I don't think so.
No, they're not going to lose to Pitt. I had them losing to Clemson, and they won that game in overtime. And once they did, I thought, wow, okay, well, that's the game I thought they were going to lose. They did not. Let's buckle up here. We may go on a real run, like as in we'll be one of the last 4 standing. Now, when you're in the midst of that, it is weird to try to look ahead. But if you do it from the standpoint of Mike's got this thing rolling right now, and from a recruiting standpoint, you got an elite class coming in. You're going to have to continue to bulk up on your high school recruiting. You're going to have to do better, consistently better, moving forward. Getting certain players at certain positions.
Because you're going to have a top 5 class this year.
Right. But you remember, recruiting is an awful lot about meeting needs. And so you may have a top 5 class and not meet needs in some areas, and therefore it's a little hollow. And so I'm not saying this is going to be a hollow class, but we know what positions I'm talking about and where some of that frustration lies. Let's see what they do. They're going to probably have to get somebody in the transfer portal at that position. They've got a shot at some guys. There'll be a lot of opportunities. I mean, hell, at Michigan State alone, they have some opportunities, and they certainly hit the jackpot with their last Michigan State player. So it will be fascinating to see how this all works out. But I really think because you can, and we were talking about it before the break, because you can maybe largely bring back this offensive line. So for example, you can bring back maybe a healthy Robert Scott. Okay, that changes the dynamic all of a sudden. You could bring back a healthy Bless Harris. You could bring back your starting center. At some point, Mo has to move it along, but he's been a good college football player, and that's what he is. He's a very good college football player. He's not a pro in the making. He's a very good college offensive lineman.
Extremely valuable to what we do, and we haven't cultivated many options behind him. And then Darius Washington, I would posit.
Who you can bring back and start because
anywhere.
He's the most improved offensive lineman we have.
And you can start him anywhere on the line.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, if you tell me I've got a good offensive line, and now you tell me that, maybe Darrell Jackson gets to play a full season. Maybe maybe the 2 starts he gets or the 1 start he gets in the playoffs, whatever it turns out to be, is not enough to get him elevated to whatever he sees himself as. I think at 6'5", 340 with those feet and that leverage, he should be a first-round pick. I think if he plays a full season, he will be a first-round pick. I don't know if he projects that way now. Maybe he does. Maybe he does, and he announces and he impresses everybody at the combine, and then you're screwed. But imagine getting him back.
Practice film can be compelling too.
Very compelling. Yeah. And when you have those measurables, there's no guarantee that he will come back just because he didn't play a lot, just because he didn't get into games.
Well, I think that's the other thing as the market is regulating for retention. I think you're going to get to a place here where you get clarity in the next year or two about there's a hard line between when you should stay and when you should go in terms of the draft. Like if you don't care about anything but the money, your line of delineation is the 3rd round, or it's the 95th pick or something specific. I think you're going to get there soon when it comes to dollar values. It's almost like you're going to be able to slot stuff as a collective, not just the draft picks get slotted. We know that, but the collective will say, all right, he's projected as a 3rd round. So in order for us to retain his services, we've got to beat this slot.
Well, we also know that some positions are of greater value in the portal than others. It's hard to find, or at a high school than others. It's hard to find. We've been very fortunate. You don't see a lot of teams go out and get first-round talent off the edge. I mean, we're like the only one. Look around. We're the only one. We've been able to bring in Jermaine Johnson and Jared Verse. That is crazy. And that isn't the norm. And from what I understand of how the market works, it's hard to get dominant defensive linemen in the portal. You can get a guy that is coming up from a smaller school like we got Braden Fisk. You know, he had offers obviously go to Notre Dame, Florida State, a couple of others, and he projected nicely, but there was a reason he went to Western Michigan, and he wasn't a top-tier 5-star coming out of high school. Those guys usually don't end up in the portal. And so either retaining somebody like a Farmer or a Darrell Jackson becomes of heightened importance, or really going all in on maybe the lone dominant figure along that defensive line that's out there in the portal, you know, like trying to beat out a USC or beat out an LSU or beat out whomever. Like, you got to decide.
Well, and this is where the long game that the coaches are playing can help you. The amount of reps that a Gilbert Edmond gets and a Byron Turner gets. It tells you that if you successfully retain, say, Patrick Payton, and you retain his services, you know how much you need, how much help you need, because you put those two players out there in so many live game reps, Gilbert Edmond and Byron Turner, that you know very well what you're willing to go, what lengths you're willing to go get a second edge player. I think we can skate here. If there's a perfect fit, great. If there's not, I think we're graduating stuff up the ranks. That's one of the benefits to the high rotation, but I don't think there's any doubt. I hadn't really counted Darrell Jackson as a potential retention candidate.
It's possible.
But there's no doubt that Peyton, Farmer, and Darrell Jackson would be at the top of the list. I think in terms of price and in need.
I need to look and see where some of the scouts that do this stuff on Twitter on the condition of anonymity, you'll see guys who 26-year scout, you know, you can verify that kind of stuff, where they would have a Farmer at this point. I mean, because his potential is through the roof. He's only going to get stronger. He's had a magnificent season.
Yeah, it's kind of like the discussion we would have for sixth man in Leonard Hamilton's program. We have sixth man of the year, how many years running, and that dude would play 28, 32 minutes because he might be one of your best players, but you're hoping sixth man status and a limitation of the minutes might keep him in school just a little bit longer, but then Fiondu would get figured out, and we'd lose Fiondu. And Patrick Williams was a sixth man, and you couldn't keep that kid in the college ranks. It's going to be tough.
By the way, I think we're going to like 6'7" VCU transfer Jameer Watkins.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He had 18 points, 6 of 6 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, 4 of 7 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, game high 5 steals. He did everything in 27 minutes as a starter in that exhibition game. And I was told by 3 very knowledgeable basketball people, you're going to like him. You're going to like him. So they need it. And by the way, Baba Miller played exceptionally well as well. He had 16 points, 6 of 9, 3 of 6 from the free throw line, but 9 rebounds, 3 block shots in 26 minutes. Looked like the kid that we signed last year before the NCAA screwed us.
Okay, so it comes down to, can Primo get the waiver? And then you might have something.
Primo's not going to get the waiver. And unfortunately, I think, I don't know that. I shouldn't say that.
Oh, boy.
I doubt Primo's going to get the waiver based on a couple of other rulings.
It feels like there's a wink in there, maybe a nod too.
I don't think he's going to get the waiver, buddy. He's still waiting, by the way. What do they take?
I'm just saying he's not getting it. All right, fine. It's gospel now.
I don't understand why the hell it takes this long for the NCAA to decide a yay or nay on this, man.
Yes,
what are we doing?
Yes, you do. You understand.
They
suck.
Yes, they suck to high heaven. But
they suck worse than our offensive line did 4 years ago.
Ooh, buddy, that's a real.
That's
high
how much
level
they
of
suck.
Yeah, it'd be nice because otherwise you've got some problems here, man, in the backcourt. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm not a big Jalen Worley fan. Speaking of our conversation,
breaking news into the Jeff Cameron show.
Mm-hmm. And they tried. Now they got some problems there. Got some problems in the backcourt, like the front court. Got some problems in the backcourt. We'll see. I know you don't want to talk basketball, but they're out there.
You're trying. You're efforting. I like that. After a couple of years of being beaten into the ground, you're trying in your brain to maneuver away into being in bubble contention at the end of the season. I can see that's the wheel that's turning right now.
All right. Jameer Watkins, Baba Miller.
This is it.
Cameron Fletcher.
The choo-choo is trying to emerge from the windpipe.
By the way, Darren Green Jr. played a decent game. Still here. Lest you forget.
Look at you.
No, man, it's hard. It's difficult. But hey, we're 8-0 football team. We don't need to do this right now. Just want you to know it's out there on the horizon.
All right. What's higher, the percentage chance that we make the NCAA tournament, or the amount of Zaxby's locations here in our fine fair
98 Zaxby's.
I'm going to go. That means lower.
Lower.
Lower chance.
Lower
we make the tournament.
98 Zaxby's to choose from in Tallahassee, Florida. What a capital city we live in. How about that? No chance you're starving if you need some chicken here, buddy. Zaxby's got you covered. 98 of them. And they do chicken Phillies. They do the platters. You get the classic chicken sandwich with the split top bun and the thick cut pickles. Forget about it with the spicy Zax sauce.
3:30 window is an ideal time just to set the platter down and forget it.
And knowing that you're buying food from a guy that has been a Golden Chief booster for over 18 years. So he's given back. The successes of the Zaxby's has directly led to donations to Florida State.
Halftime of the noon window. That's when you go get your platter. Halftime of the noon window. Halftime takes 45 minutes in college football. It's a perfect time to get in the car and go.
You know, that's an adjustment they got to make. We don't need all that. The NFL does it right. The NFL does a lot of things wrong, but they do that right. And the NFL halftime is cruel. It's like, get in there, get a glass of water. We're back out there. Let's go.
If the bathroom line is more than 10 deep,
yeah, you got a problem on your hands.
You're going to be late.
Yeah, you're going to be. They don't fool around on the NFL. College, you're like, sweet Jesus. This is an entire ballet from this band. I mean, we've been here for days.
I think that's the compromise that we could strike here, is that there's less piped in music between plays, more band.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
More band. I want more natural music. Yeah, more band.
During the game. Stop this nonsense. This is not a defense chant in the Garden because the Knicks and Bulls are playing in 97.
Hey, your Knicks are pretty good this year, by the way.
They could very well be.
They're about the third or fourth best team in the East.
Dolan's still alive and still owns the team. Still not my Knicks.
I got it.
Still, we're almost there.
Just letting you know.
But I will never. I'm sticking true to that
until Dolan's dead or gone
or leaves.
Yeah,
yeah.
You're going to tune into some Knicks games. Come on, they're pretty good. They're a fun team to watch right now. I'm just letting you know.
You're going to tune into them more than you will the Clippers now the Clippers got Harden.
It pissed me and my son off beyond reason. We were driving yesterday. I was almost in tears. I had to be the one to break the news to him. I said, hey, son, you'll laugh about this because he loves the Clippers because of Terrence Mann. So I said, I have good news, bad news.
I wondered if he was traded because, you know,
right.
If he goes the other way.
There it was. I said, here's the good news, bad news, son. And this is like I'm waking him up at 6:15 in the morning. So he's already bleary-eyed. And I said, I got good news and bad news. And he's, what's that? Terrence Mann is still a Clipper. He's like, okay, but you guys traded for Harden. And he's like, why? Why would anybody do that? And I said, I don't know. I don't know how that fat ass who gives up on his last 3 teams and never shows up in the playoffs still somehow convinces GMs to do really dumb things and pay him huge sums of money. It's crazy. I'm just, but anyhow. I know. Well, you know what? We kind of fall back on the Sacramento Kings because De'Aaron Fox signed a jersey for my son.
Oh, there you go.
Got it sent in.
Let's see, my wife is a Spurs fan, so they're super interesting now.
Yeah, but boy, that's not a good team.
Not yet.
No, they got a long way to go.
It's a ride. They're going up. They beat the Suns. They came back on the Suns.
115, 114. I saw it. That was a crazy, weird, stolen win, but they got it. But I will tell you this, that I did laugh when Wemby got dunked on last night, but KD, he dunked right on his face.
All I get is the box score. I'm not,
Yeah.
like, so what did they do?
I'm watching it. But yeah, it was a hell of a comeback. It was good for them. Back to our team for a second. Florida State football, before we break. I think they're going to be veteran laden again next year and have a very good chance of winning the conference again. And that is a far cry from what we were talking about before the season began. I think they've got a very good chance. Now that we know that Brock Glenn can really play, and if Tate has to play, that's not the end of the world.
No, he's been
And
fine.
you've got an up-and-coming superstar crop of wide receivers. If they could ever get Vendravius Jacobs' head screwed on right, and he's part of that group too. Holy moly, man. Hakeem Williams, Destin Hill, Vendravius Jacobs.
Hey, Goldie Lawrence doesn't suck either.
Doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And next year will be Portier's year. You got
4 or 5 dudes. And if you could ever get the stud Jeremiah Smith.
Yes. And you also have a stud running back coming in, who I love. By the way, that kid's film is incredible.
Cam Davis?
Yes. Watch that kid's film. Low center of gravity, giant legs, moves effortlessly.
Have you watched Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah, yes. I'm with you, man.
No,
I'm telling you. See, this is what I'm
be-
saying. This is where we're getting.
That's a stunning development if they could pull it off. Battlesend.com.
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your heating and air conditioning system doesn't check with you before it takes a break. That's why we're always ready to help. Any day, anytime, anywhere. And with our annual service agreement, there are no overtime charges. Ever. At Verno Heating and Air, we will always be there for you.
Verno Heating and Air Conditioning.
License CAC 1816186.
There's no doubt that buying a home can feel overwhelming, especially if it's your first home. You're worried about location, school zones, square footage, inspections, insurance, loan approvals, interest rates, and of course, the price. Buying a home could be the most significant investment you've ever made. But there's good news. You have our friends at Legendary Home Loans, and they're on your side and in your corner. They're going to go to bat for you. Shannon Young from Legendary Home Loans can help first-time home buyers get up to $25,000 for your down payment. For first responders, veterans, teachers, military, and healthcare workers, and that's not all. Shannon is an expert navigator of the home loan terrain, and you can trust that he's going to get you the most competitive interest rates and guide you through the process every step of the way. Plus, Shannon will also get your closing costs reduced. It's the Hometown Heroes program at Legendary Home Loans. Give them a call today, 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN. Or go to FSUHomeLoans.com and ask for Shannon Young.
NMLS number 2270146.
The leaves are starting to fall, the temperatures will start to fall, and the prices are falling right now at Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas. Incredible dealer discounts up to $5,000 are available on all hot spring spas, the industry leader in hot tubs and spas. If you've never experienced the sensation and relaxation of having your own hot tub in your backyard on a cool evening, you're truly missing out. The cold months are coming, and now's the time to set yourself up for the best winter season you've ever had. Plus, you'll gain the added health benefits of reduced stress, relief of sore muscles, and better sleep. You'll feel so relaxed after a nice soak in your new hot spring spa. You'll experience some of the best sleep of your life. Head over to Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road and check out their huge showroom packed with the best selection of hot tubs and spas available. And ask about getting up to $5,000 in discounts, low interest financing, and a free accessory to make your hot tub dreams come true. If you're ready to relax, Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
This Friday and Saturday, when you buy anything from either Fulmer's location, you'll pay absolutely no tax. Fulmer's will pay it for you. That's a 7.5% net savings to you that goes on top of already marked down prices on many items. Some as much as 50% off retail. 2 days only this Friday and Saturday. Jewelry, bikes, electronics, tools, lawn equipment, sporting goods, collectibles, even firearms will be bought with no tax because Fulmer's will pay it for you. And speaking of guns, quality gun maker Premier Firearms will have a representative on hand at the North Monroe location with their unique weapons, rifles, and pistols finished in 24-karat gold. Beautiful designs illustrating the American flag, Louis Vuitton, SEC themes, pink rose, and more will be on display and available for purchase. Really must be seen to appreciate. And while you're at either Fulmer's location, make sure to register for a $100 store gift certificate. 2 days only this Friday and Saturday. Find huge discounts and pay no sales tax at either Fulmer's location. Fulmer's Pawn, Gun, and Check Cashing. More than you might expect with 2 great locations.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
subject of, the collective and NIL and transfer portal and all that good stuff. Maybe find a bona fide center. I mean, at some point,
Hey, man, the thing is, your phone's going to be ringing off the hook at Florida State now for these opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part, is for two reasons. Number one, you've proven that you can make people money, which is the most important. Then number two, it's a fun program to be around and you win. So people want to be a part of that. Before, it was on faith. Like 2 years ago when we got Micah Pittman. You had to believe in the dream.
You had to believe in what he was pitching. Yep.
Yeah. Pittman, Johnny Wilson, Deuce Spann, Winston Wright. When those four came in, that's on faith. There is nothing on film at Florida State that says that you are going to be bettered by coming into this offense and playing with Jordan Travis. You got to believe in the message. Now, you don't have to pitch the message. You already know. You turn on the film and you see, I'm going to make money when I go to Florida State, and we're going to win a lot of football games. So that part of the calendar, I get excited for it. Recruiting, I'm hot and cold with each year.
Yeah.
But transfer portal stuff is a lot of fun, and that's right around the corner.
We've also been really good at it, and we've identified the right players.
If we were Clemson, who cares about transfer portal season?
He doubled down yesterday.
That's what he does.
Oh, yeah.
He's never wrong. He's never failed in his life. Never. Not failed at a thing, Tyler. Unreal.
Well, it's just good for us. Like, I again, you see some of the telltale signs of instability within a program when the guy that's running it is, he's got rabbit ears, he's sensitive, he's pushing back and argumentative with a fan base, with an entire fan base. And he tries to couch it by telling everybody that he doesn't mean everybody, he just means the 1.5% that he's apparently identified as being ungrateful. And, it's never a good look. We saw some of this with Jimbo. We see it with coaches all the time when they're having problems off the field, and then those problems manifest in a way that affects the performance on the field. And so I don't know what's going on in his life. I do know that they're whatever they are in their last 12, 6-6 or something like that. They haven't been a good football team, and as of late. And it is odd. Now, what's weird about them, and I continue to say it, sometimes it's not necessarily quantifiable because, look, you could look at Clemson, and if you look at the advanced statistics, they would tell you they're a very good team, but there they sit at 4-4. And at some point, it stops being incredibly unlucky because turnover luck is a thing, right? I mean, you can't really teach the skill. Now, you can do things that help cause turnovers, like pressuring the quarterback, playing good defense on first down and getting them behind the chains. These kinds of things lead to opportunities to create turnovers. But once the ball's on the ground, it's kind of a hodgepodge of whoever gets it, gets it. Sometimes you fall back on it. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it takes a weird bounce and goes to somebody else's hands.
Our first scoring drive this weekend. We were the beneficiaries of good football luck.
Yeah. So they have been incredibly unlucky, but this seems to now be a constant trend of being unlucky in the red zone, A. And then B, you see it in other areas where, okay, this wasn't a turnover, but it might as well have been. When your quarterback decides to go rogue and call his own number on a play down at the 1 yard line, when you have two veteran backs, one of which has proven his ability to get a yard time and again on better teams than this, meaning he was a part of the successful runs 2 years ago. That's extraordinary that you feel you can do that. That kind of entitlement is something to behold.
Dabo hates entitlement. If nothing else, he hates entitlement. And takers.
So think about that.
Revert back to the first game of the season, and you could say that maybe it was, they didn't see each other. But now, if you revisit the moment when Dabo has his hand outstretched for a little high five with his quarterback,
and your boy just jogs on by.
That could have been, I didn't see him, but with the information that we have subsequent to that night,
yeah,
there is no doubt he saw him and said, screw you, I will not touch your hand, sir.
I think we would lean in that direction. There's a brokenness to what's going on at Clemson right now because they do have good players. I mean, they legitimately have good players. They're everywhere. Really good players. And one of the ways that I would tell somebody who would push back and say they've been really unlucky and that's really all that's going on here, you're looking too far into it, Jeff. You're reading too much into this. Okay. Explain 17-12 against Wake.
That's the one.
Explain it. We just saw that Wake team. Come on, man.
Having watched that game last week to prep for Wake, all I walked away with was, oh, my God. Now that is a culture loss.
That's a cold, yeah.
That you end up ahead at the end of the game.
Yeah, you won the game, but there were screaming alarms everywhere that
Whoa.
something is off, because in no world with the talent that Clemson has at home, by the way, should that game ever be resembling anything close to 17-12. And so this is like, well, I remember, and coaches do this all the time, and he's done it this week, so this is why I bring it up. Coach Bowden used to cite all of the close losses and say we were a play or two away. And at some point, obviously, I pushed back on that and said, no, you're not. No, you're not. At some point, if you're perpetually a play away, then you're not a play away. You're just not a good football team, and you don't make winning plays when the game is on the line. Well, when he would say that, he would conveniently ignore all the times they won close games that could have gone the other way. So you would always circle the times it didn't go your way, and you wouldn't acknowledge that you had several 3-point wins in games you were 20-point favorites in that could have gone the other way too. That showed a kind of continuity to the problems from game to game. And this is what's happening with Clemson right now, where you see, like, you're worlds better than a Virginia, worlds better than an NC State, worlds better than a Wake Forest. And look at these situations that you find yourself in.
Since you brought up the name Bowden, that reminds me of a time in which Tim Brando did his damnedest.
He came into the studio
to argue that Dabo reminds him exactly of Bobby.
Yeah, he was trying to do that, yeah.
And that makes me fondly recall the call-in show maybe 15, 20 years ago where Bobby Bowden said, I'm not going to let some little snot-nosed punk tell me whether I'm a success or not.
Right.
Some dumbass.
That never happened.
That never happened.
That never happened.
So let's stop the comparison thing between Dabo and Bobby. Can you please?
Not a lot of people do that anymore.
Because he's shown his ass enough.
Yeah.
Finally.
Also, wow, and that's been going on. But what happens is it comes back to haunt you when you begin to lose games because the knives are out. And, this happened with Jimbo. You had a ton of Jimbo defenders for a while there who weren't aware of the stuff behind the scenes and off the field and things that would maybe reflect poorly on his character or certainly on the decisions he was making at the very least. Then they start losing games and people start turning on the lights. All of a sudden you're like, well, what is going on over here? Well, now you care because you're losing. You didn't care to acknowledge that situation for what it was when you were winning games. Now you're looking at it and saying, oh, wait, there's something else going on here. Yes, there is.
But Dabo, if you make a bowl, if you get to 6 wins this year, will you have a pizza party again?
The problem, once you start going down this path, it is remarkably hard to turn it around. If you have a ruined culture, a broken culture, if there's distrust, the seeds of distrust have been sown. If that's true, it is awfully difficult to get it turned around. Devoid of a kind of mea culpa, come to Jesus sort of meeting with your players and yourself, can you be honest with yourself first and foremost? Can you look in the mirror and say, I'm part of the problem?
Do you think that the call-in show answer indicates that Dabo
is capable of that?
Capable of looking in the mirror and saying, I'm part of the problem?
I think any responsible leader who values his job and wants to retain his position owes it to himself, certainly, to self-scout, quite literally. Not just the X's and O's, but how you go about doing the job and how you go about interacting with those that you see on a daily basis that aid you in doing that job. Not all leaders, not all successful businessmen or coaches in this case are capable of that, not without some serious evidence that it must be done. What I worry about is we've seen some evidence that Dabo does not have complete control the way that he thinks he does or the way we thought he did, because they've made him make moves. And that tells me somebody else is aware. Unfortunately, it may work out because they'll get it done for him, even if he doesn't want to. He'll go kicking and screaming. He's not going to quit. He's making $11.5 million a year. He's not going to get angry when the AD or somebody above the AD says, this is what you're going to do. These insular hires that you keep making for guys that are inexperienced on this level are not going to get it done. We're going to go bring in this, and this, and that's the way it's going to be. Now, you can quit, but that's what's going to happen. And he won't, I don't think.
No, but I wouldn't think that the staffing is that much of an issue. They're recruiting well. They're playing well.
Well, they're not playing well. They're losing games. They're in games against bad teams that they shouldn't be in games with.
But I'm talking about what you talked about last hour, which is there's a difference between rankings and power ratings. Like most of the substantive things that they're doing that are showing up, in terms of
this
success
is
rate.
This is a culture problem, though.
That's the issue.
But they also have had a problem moving the football consistently.
It's not me blaming the players for Dabo's ill. No, it's Dabo. Don't get me wrong, but I don't necessarily think the coordinators are bad coordinators. You know what I'm saying?
There's a jury to be had there. I mean, there's the jury's out on that. We got to wait and see. I mean, they do not execute in the red zone. They're one of the worst red zone teams in the country. In fact,
awesome.
the worst.
It's amazing.
They've got some other issues there. One of your issues may be a quarterback, despite some really big numbers. He's had some moments where you think he can play, but you can't have a guy just straight up defy the head coach in a goal line situation in overtime.
I wouldn't even run him back out there. How could you? Because you've been through it at the Florida State game. If I'm a Clemson guy, so we went through this at the Florida State game. That oh shucks, I wish you hadn't handed the ball off there on 3rd and 1. We'll have to take that option away. That's my fault, I guess. And then you go even back farther to the Duke game. He's got to know when to slide. and Dabo's killing him in the hey, he's a young player. You know when to slide.
He killed him in the press conference, and that's also why he didn't slap his hand and all that.
So there's two. And now you're telling me that there is no option for you to keep the ball, and you do? You got to go. I'm sorry. You might be a Heisman candidate somewhere else, but you can't be for me. You have to leave. And now.
Well, it may work out in our favor, and that's why it comes up. It's not an overriding concern because we've certainly moved on now, but it is interesting that it could work out in our favor because those players that have gone to Clemson, many of whom Florida State's been in battles with, now have all the reason in the world to not go. You see, there is real trouble brewing there. The record on the field isn't good. You have discord. Now you can look over it in Tallahassee and come on down.
What an interesting atmosphere. It's going to be up there this weekend. If we had a bye week, I might drive up there just to take in the scene of Notre Dame rolling into town. They're going to be physical on both sides of the ball, and the crowd won't be behind Dabo as he runs down the hill.
Oh, yes, they will. They bought into that diatribe, buddy. Yes, they did.
I think division is being sown between that fan base. They're
I
going
hope
through
you're
it
right.
now.
You have a few aware fans there, like Tyler, who call in and rudely ask questions, and he also didn't need to get into his pockets. But, that kind of stuff is the sign usually that there are larger swaths of a fan base that feel that way too.
You can turn the other cheek if you want to. I think everybody's going to clap as he runs down the hill, but some of them will be looking at each other.
You will have some inspired rednecks who've bought that fire and brimstone nonsense from him for a long time. And why would they not? He won them 2 national titles.
I think as the seating levels get more expensive, I don't know if they've got 15 different categories of seating like we're aspiring
The educated folk there may see through it, sure.
As you get to Epte, I don't know that it's a full-throated go get him Dabo.
I hope you're right. What an
interesting atmosphere that's going to be.
I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Notre Dame. I don't love Notre Dame's offense. That could be...
If they summon the care, they absolutely could. That's 17-13.
Oh, it's the under. I looked it up last night. I was ready to go. I bet the under already.
Did you?
Yeah. I jumped on that. Actually, I jumped on that on Monday. I was like, we're betting the under.
Estime doesn't run away from anybody. So
no, I would have
collision of that dude with Trotter, though. Oh man.
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Officers responded Monday night to the 2000 block of Flipper Street in reference to a victim, an adult male, who was injured in a shooting. The victim sustained a single gunshot wound to the right thigh that was determined to be non-life-threatening. The victim was not forthcoming with information regarding what led up to the shooting. There are no suspects at this time, and no arrests have been made. This remains an open and active investigation. And moments later, officers responded to the 2100 block of Melanie Drive, where officers located another victim, an adult male also suffering from a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. This one to the shoulder. No arrests have been made in this incident either, and there are no suspects at this time. This also remains an open and active investigation. At this point, it is unclear whether the incidents are connected or not. If you have any information, call Tallahassee Police Department at 850-891-4200, or to remain anonymous, call Crime Stoppers at 850-574-TIPS. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with a high of 60. Winds out of the north, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight. Lows dip down to about 39. Highs level off around 67 tomorrow. Sunny skies and calm. Mainly sunny skies and calm Friday with daytime highs approaching 71. 77 Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 60.
Excellence defines us, so we'll never let orthopedic pain and injury define you. TOC is a physician-led team of fellowship-trained specialists, providing the highest level of orthopedic care in the region. With 12 centers of excellence and TOC Now urgent care clinics, our patients access affordable expert care fast. TOC, only experts. Schedule an appointment at teamtoc.com.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The pan con lechon, Jeff.
Is that what is the pork?
The pan con lechon, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Sorry. No, I'm not.
Let's get it together.
I'm immersed in us. We're undefeated in the month of November for the first time since 2014. I've been immersed.
You can be immersed in us and still watch other things. There's other stuff happening that you can be focused on. Hockey being one of them.
That's true. I love the sport.
You love the sport. You're a big fan. Looks like the Rangers are going to win the World Series. Good for them, by the way. That will be good for my poor buddy who will never forget the Nelson Cruz play and the pain in his heart that Cardinals come back.
And that is the best texting restraint you've ever showed in your life when you were about to send.
I'm so glad.
Congratulations as the ball is hit to right field. Oh, no.
Oh, man. I texted him last night, though. When they were up 10-0, I took chances.
They got it to 11-7.
11-7. It was really never that interesting, but I texted, we're close, sir, and I'm rooting for you. And he said something I can't say, and then wrote, I haven't dared to dream like this in a long time after Game 6 in 2011. It's just been tough.
That is remarkable that is 12 years ago now.
I remember like it was yesterday when he dropped that ball, and then
that was the AM dial
and the freeze home run and everything. You're like, oh my God.
You told that story on the AM.
On the AM dial, yeah. Yeah, for those that don't know that story, I have a friend who's a huge Texas Rangers fan, has been his whole life. Nolan Ryan's his favorite player of all time, and he loves the Rangers, follows the minor leagues, knows everybody that's coming up. And if you guys remember that World Series, they were on the cusp of winning it. And you have a couple of unfortunate plays, most notably Cruz doesn't make a catch out in the outfield. Then they give up a home run that goes to Game 7. Cardinals win it. And he was one strike away from winning the World Series, not once, but twice in that series. And they can you imagine that? One strike? Not a game, a strike.
I felt something similar, but not quite like that.
No, that's you're like, Well, you know what it's done to me is that at a few years back, obviously 7-8 years ago, whatever it was now, when the Pirates had that 98 win team and got beat in the playoffs 3 years in a row, I knew once McCutchen was gone and half the team was gone after that, we were going to go right back to being the losers that we are with no payroll, and that's what we did. And so I knew that the window had shut But standing back and watching friends have opportunities, friends' teams have opportunities. Some succeeded, some did not. Some have gotten to the precipice, and others have, felt that sting of disappointment. Some have felt both. Like Braves fans right now can say they felt both. They got the World Series run, they won the ring, and then they turned around and set records here a couple years later, and then get beat in the first round of the playoffs. You're like, well, good Lord. It's a cruel game. Hammered home by the fact there are more teams allowed into the postseason, and you get weird results. And so because of that now, if the Pirates are good again at any point here in the rest of my lifetime, and they do make it back, I'm going to have zero expectations. I'll just celebrate getting to the playoffs. I'll want them to win badly. I'll watch. I'll eagerly anticipate each game, but I will not have expectations. Because if you win 104 games and you have the best offense and defense in the league, or you win 100 and whatever games, it may not matter at all. The team you face, that particular series, could have a guy who is painting. 2 nights in a row, you're in a 2-0 series, and you're done. You're about to be swept up out of here after 162 games of kicking ass.
Yep, the moment that still sends me off staring into the ether a little bit. It's first and second, nobody out. Cliff Floyd coming to the plate, was still in his prime. Cliff Floyd strikes out.
Cliff Floyd
Strikes out. Then Jose Reyes comes to the dish. Didn't know that he was a chicken just yet in his life, and also not so great off the field either. Lines out to center. Then Paul LaDuca walks, and you got bases loaded for my man Carlos Beltran. And you would think down 3-1 to a team that lost 47 games on the road.
Yep.
47. They were 34-47 on the road, where the 83-win Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Think you got a shot there, don't you?
Probably.
No, you don't. You're going home. You're done. Cancel your flight. Cancel your tickets to Game 3 of the World Series. It's over.
That was a tough moment, Tom.
It was.
Not as tough as me watching Sid Bream slide home on one leg. And
the game was already tied, though, wasn't it? At that point, as he's rounding third.
Well, you lose the game on that play,
Yeah,
and yes, and you had the lead in the ninth and all of that. So yeah, the Terry Pendleton double that starts it off, where I'm like, oh, they're gonna lose. Here we go.
Yeah,
here we go. And then you have a bum trailer salesman like Francisco Cabrera close his eyes and accidentally hit a single. There's all kinds of stuff there, buddy. It's just painful. Painful. The game of baseball is crueler than most.
Part of me thinks that Aaron Heilman was pitching for you guys that night, because he's the one who gave up the 9th inning home run in 2006.
But, here's what's good. Baseball made some real improvements this year. The criticisms going into the season when they made these changes were maybe in order. There are too many strikeouts, not enough balls put in play. The games are sluggish, too long. Umpires miss way too many calls. That's Tom's number one thing. Strike ball situation is dreadful.
9th inning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had a recent 9th inning situation.
Yes, we did. Too many pitchers. You could, all this stuff, right? Well, pitch clock changed things in dramatic ways. Cut down the game sluggishness and length. I mean, hell, even with 10 pitchers the other night and longer commercial breaks for the World Series, the game was 3 hours, even with all that. And, the strikeouts, balls in play problem didn't get much better, but runs are up, batting averages are up, stolen bases are through the roof.
Yep.
So a lot of things changed to make the game more enjoyable to watch, and those changes were a raging success for baseball.
I loved watching 70s and 80s baseball during the pandemic when there was nothing on, because of the pace of the pitching.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it's come back to. The ball, what I've learned about myself this year as a viewer, the ball doesn't necessarily have to be put in play as much as we all want. As long as the pitches keep coming.
The next thing is happening. Yes.
As long as the next thing
is happening. Because,
15 to 20 seconds is reasonable. You can still have a conversation while that's going on.
And they got rid of the shift. That helped. Yeah, a lot of stuff helped there.
Yeah.
And they did a good job.
Now you get those robot umpires going.
I think we're closer than ever before.
Yeah. Come on now.
You got guys missing calls that are, you got guys calling strikes that are 7-8 inches off the plate.
3-1 or 2-2 in the 9th inning. Like,
that's a big damn deal.
We all know the 1-1 pitch is a humongous one. To get that wrong all the damn time. God, 1 and 2. There's no more lonely feeling than 1 and 2 when it should be 2 and 1.
Oh, man. Well, if you're a young lad or lassie would like to play baseball or softball, and wants to get better at it, Power Mill is where you can go. Teach them the fundamentals. Get them out there playing their best version of the sport that they love and want to get better at. PowerMillSports.com is the website. Find out about their instruction. Find out about their camps, all that good stuff. They play tonight? I don't think so, right? Do they? Do I got that
No,
right?
they play tonight.
Oh, that's right. All right. Well, here we go. Go ahead. Fire it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching probables?
Nathan Eovaldi going for the Rangers. Zach Gallen going for the D-backs. Up against it. Maybe the last one. Maybe the last one I get to do. So look at those that shall reside on the bump. Don't forget tonight, 7 o'clock, Tom and myself will join forces yet again. We do frequently. And we will at 7 for the JCS Interactive. We hope you'll join us. Make sure you're there. Brought to you by our friends at the Battle's End. TheBattlesEnd.com. Learn more. Go buy one of the quarter zips. Gorgeous. And it's the weather that you can wear them.
I'm going to apologize to Director Matthew right now. I have one for him. It's right next to my front door. Gotta bring that for you. I got to get you the wooden thing from Pete Mercer, and I got to get you his. Yeah, that'll be tomorrow.
You're just storing stuff that were meant for other people for months at a time, Tom.
I'm such a hoarder.
You got to get it together. Good job, Christian Bale and Kermit. Good work, Director. Good work, Tom. Thanks to all of you. See you guys tonight. Peace.